Yeah. So let me open it. Let us have some discussion in the class. How many types of errors are? How many types of errors? Very good. Three types of errors are there. Right. Can you name them? Can you name them the type of errors, ma? Can you name them the type of errors? Yes. Number one, compile time errors, logical errors, and then runtime errors. Very good. Super. Why compile time errors are occurring? Why compile time errors are occurring? Redmi 9 power. Switch off your video. So, come on to the point. Why these syntaxes are not followed? Why logical errors are occurring? Why logical errors are occurring? Because of wrong logic. That is correct answer. Because of wrong logic. Because of misinterpretation of the logic. Because of misinterpretation, incorrect logic, we will get it. Right. Most important thing, compile time errors and logical errors. Who will solve it? Who will solve it? Who will solve those errors? Programmers. At which level? At which level you will solve? Which level you will solve? At development level. At a development level. Very nice. Perfect. Why do you get runtime errors? Why do you get runtime errors? Because of wrong inputs. Due to wrong inputs. Because of wrong inputs, we will be getting. What is the definition of exception? Be careful. What is the definition of exception? What is the definition of exception? I am asking the question to point, question to question. No, I am asking question to all runtime errors are called exceptions. That's right. All types of runtime errors are called exceptions. All types of runtime errors are called what? Exceptions. Very perfect. Very perfect. Exceptions will give which messages by default? Exceptions gives by default which messages? Technical error messages will be coming. Easy trick. Who will understand technical error messages? Who will understand technical error messages? Programmers can understand. Who cannot understand? Who cannot understand? Users cannot understand. Users cannot understand. That's why end users, industry is recommended to convert what? Industry is recommended to convert what? Technical error messages into which messages? User-friendly error messages. Recommended to convert into what? User-friendly error messages. User-friendly error messages. Converted into user-friendly error messages. What is the definition of exception handling? What is the definition of exception handling? What is the definition of exception handling? The process of converting technical error messages into user-friendly error messages is known as what? Exceptions we can call. So that is already we started discussing in yesterday's class. Look at that. Some description we started in the last class. Some description we started in the last class. Types of errors. Types of errors we done. And then some points we already prepared it. And today we are learning some more new points in the class. Some more new points we are learning in the class. What are those new points? We are understanding now. So let us start understanding about some new points. So please carefully understand it. So let me go to the process of converting system error messages into that. Yeah. Now I am going to tell you one important point here. Now, let me talk about this point is very, very important. When the exception occurs, let me continue my discussion here. Still people are going on joining it. So I will continue that. When the exception occurs in the Java program, when the exception occurs in Python program, Java program, .NET program, whatever it is. When the exception occurs in the program, Seema, when the exception occurs in the program, when the exception occurs in Python program, do you know what is happening? 3 steps takes place internally. Now I'm writing internally. This is a very, very critical point, I can say. Please carefully follow. If you don't concentrate well on this point, you will get problem of understanding. When the exception occurs in the Python program, internally 3 steps takes place. Internally, 3 steps takes place. 3 steps takes place. What are those 3 steps takes place? Now I am writing A. When the exception occurs in the Python program, internally 3 steps takes place. First step I am going to tell you. First step. What is the first step? PVM abnormally terminates the program. PVM, the execution of the program, PVM abnormally terminates. Now I'm writing PVM terminates the program execution. This is a very, very important yesterday. PVM terminates the program execution. Program execution abnormally. This is an important terminology. Abnormally means what? Suppose there is a 1 to 10 steps are there. This is the first statement, second statement, third statement, fourth statement, fifth statement. Like that, I have 10 statements are there. I have 10 statements with me. So these 10 steps, in the fourth line, some exception is occurring. Do you know what is happening? Immediately, fourth line itself will be stopping the execution. It will come out of it and then it will stop the execution then and there. It won't execute the rest of the statements. So line number 4, I will explain that in another way also. So I am trying to tell one important point. When the exception occurs in the Python program, 3 steps are taking place because this is a critical point in today's class. PVM terminates the program execution abnormally. Abnormally means what? In the middle of the execution. It comes out of it in the middle of the execution. It is known as what? Abnormal termination. PVM terminates the program execution abnormally. Next, what will happen? PVM comes out of program flow. PVM comes out of program flow. PVM comes out of program flow. And C point I am saying PVM by default. Now I am writing by default PVM generates. PVM generates technical error messages. How far you are catching me? This is a most wonderful point, students. By default, PVM generates a system error message. If you understand now, you are a very good student. You are understanding. When the exception occurs in the Python program, what is happening? Internally, 3 steps will take place. Number 1, PVM terminates the program execution abnormally. That is the first one. I will show you that execution also. Number 2, PVM comes out of the program flow. And PVM by default generates what? Technical error message. Sir, show it practically, sir. We want to see. Yes. Right. Let me go to the Python program, students. Python program, I am going to write it. What is my program here? Moreover, one more point let me cover, then I will move forward. Well, let me go for one more point I will cover. First of all, is these 3 things are clear for you? Come on, ma. Please, this class, be active. This class, if you are little active, next class, it will be more easy for you. And further things are very easy for you. Yeah. If, see, to perform this A step and B step and C step, now I am going to move forward, ma. One wonderful statement I am writing. In order to see, now I am writing next. To terminate the program execution, to make the PVM to come out of it, and by default PVM want to generate the system error message. To do this A, B, C steps, to do this A, B, C steps, to do this A, B, C steps. So I am saying that to do this A, B, C steps, to do this A, B, C steps, internally PVM will create one object. This is one of the most important thing. In Python, everything is an object because we are seeing from the beginning onwards. From the variables onwards, we are feeling that everything is an object. Now I am writing to do A, comma B and then and C. To do A, comma B and C steps, to do A, comma B and then C steps, what will happen? PVM creates is a little difficult for you. Nothing is difficult because already we are understanding that everything is an object. We learned it. To do A, B, C steps, what is the first step? To abnormally terminate, to come out of the flow, and to generate the system error message. PVM creates an object of one predefined class. PVM creates, this is one of the most critical point what student will feel. That's why you take any student, of course I am not boasting about my class. You take any student in Python, they don't know exception handling. 101% I can see. You bring any student, I can prove within 2 minutes that they don't know anything about the exceptions. PVM creates an object of one exception class. What is this? See, double quotes I wrote. The exception is occurring in Python program. When an exception is occurring, once again I will repeat. When an exception is occurring in the Python program, 3 steps are taking place. What is the first step? Abnormal termination comes out of the program flow. By default, PVM generates a technical error message. To do this A, B, C steps, PVM will create an object of an exception class. That's why every programmer must feel that when an exception occurs in Python program, ABC steps must do. To do these ABC steps, one object of an exception class will create. That's why exceptions are always treated as what? Tell me. So bottommost technical point, technically every exception is treated as what, ma? Come on, quickly. Every exception is treated as what? Excellent object. Excellent. Every exception is, now I will continue this point here. Technically, excellent mark, you got it. Technically, all exceptions of Python, all exceptions of Java even, all exceptions of Python are treated as objects. This is one of the most wonderful points. This is technically speaking, all the exceptions in Python are treated as what? Objects. Sir, please show me that one example, sir. Then we will understand. Let me go to students. Let me go to one paintbrush. Let us watch carefully. This is my Python example. Python program, this is called. This is my Python program. Carefully watch it. Line number 1, I am writing line number 1. Line number 1. A is equal to 10. See carefully. Yes, ma'am, exactly. Second statement I am writing, dear students. B is equal to 0. Now third point I am writing print A. Fourth point I am writing print B. Now fifth point I am writing C is equal to A by B. Sixth point I am writing print of C I am writing. And like this I am having. Seventh statement is there. Some other statements are there. Some eighth is there. Some other statements are there. Like that I am having lot of statements. Now, dear student, now our PVM is ready to execute. Now our PVM is pointing here. Now PVM is pointing to where? Our PVM is pointing to this line number 1. Tell me, is there any problem line number 1 is having? Problem in the sense, is there any valid input, invalid input? Problem means valid input or invalid input. Is there any invalid input in line number 1? Everybody must talk to me. Any invalid input, ma? No invalid inputs are. No invalid inputs are. PVM will come to the next line. PVM will come to the next line. Is there any input in line number 2? Dear students, no sir. Very nice. Very good students. So powerful students. Any invalid input in line number 3? No sir. Any invalid input line number 4? No sir. Any invalid input line number 5? Any invalid input in line number 5? Yes sir. Very good. Super students. Powerful students. Satish, be careful. See that in this case, there is an invalid input. Yes, 100% there is invalid input. It is invalid input. Why, sir? Because it is substituting internally by the PVM as 10 by 0. 10 by 0. Your PVM cannot process. PVM can't process. Because of what? Because it is invalid. It is invalid input. See how I am going to explain. Very easily I am going to make you to explain. Look at, don't go to your own knowledge. Please listen what I am talking. Please keep all your work in your packet. Listen what I am talking. What I am explaining, you please follow. If you go to your own knowledge, nothing will come out of it. Just to follow what I am talking. Don't make it inconvenient. Right. Coming to the point. PVM cannot process because it is called invalid input. Every invalid input is called what? You answer my question. That's it. You don't go for your own knowledge. I don't want that knowledge. Whoever is saying that is a completely blunder. Tell me, every invalid input is called what? You follow my knowledge. It's the evergreen knowledge. Exception. It is an exception. What I am explaining, you follow. That's it. To become a successful candidate. Okay. Every invalid input is called exception. Exception means what is supposed to create. Exception means what to create. Excellent object. Whatever I said, you tell me that. I make you wonderful. That's it. Exception means object. Object require what? Object need what? Class. One class is required. So, which is not a normal class, exception class. Whose class name is? I am writing 0 division error. 0 division error. See that? 0 division error. See how I am writing it? Z capital, D capital, E capital. If you take your own exception, arithmetic exception, somebody said, it is not a Java, it is a Python language. If I take your knowledge, we cannot move forward. It is my advice for you. Please follow my knowledge. 0 division error. Z capital. If a class, this is called exception class name, whose object is created by the PVM. So I am writing here. Hence, PVM creates what I am writing? Creates an object of which class? Creates an object of which class error? 0 division. What is that? 0 division error. 0 division error class object is created. Because when this is created, when this object is created, automatically what will happen? It will come out of it. Line number 5, it will come out of it. It will come out of it without executing. You will be getting a big system error message will come. A big system error message will come. That is, nobody can understand it. Nobody can understand it. I will show you that entire message. So much of system error message will come. This message, nobody can understand. This technical error message, only programmer can understand. Technical error message will come. Technical error message will come. Technical error message will come that nobody can understand it. Only programmer can understand. End user cannot understand. So tell me, 0 division error. 0 division error is called what? What is this class called? Is the exception class you defined or already defined? Is it defined by you or already defined? Already defined. It is called one class. It was already defined. That's why it is known as what? Predefined exceptions we can call. Which exceptions, ma? Predefined exceptions we can call. Dear students, Predefined exception we can call. Let me show you that. Let me show you one simple program. I will write it. Let me go to the program. Now I am writing one Python program. Look at that carefully. Now I am writing. See carefully. Something like ex1.py. ex1.py. Now I am writing a is equal to 10. B is equal to 0. C is equal to, or I am writing print. See carefully. Line number 1. Line number 4th line. What is that? A is equal to, comma, A is equal to, now I am writing dot format of A. Line number 4 that is called. Line number 5 I am writing. Line number 5 I am writing. Line number 4 and then line number 5 I am writing. B is equal to, I am printing B. I am printing B. Yes. Now I am writing C is equal to A by B I am writing. A by B I am writing. Here I am writing line number 7. Line number 7. Carefully understand. 7th line I am writing. C is equal to, now format of C I am writing. Come on to the point of it. Here I will take first 10 by 10. 10 by 10 I will take it. Here line number 2 no problem. Line number 3 also no problem. Valid inputs only. 4th line printed, 5th line printed, 6th line executed, 7th line executed. I can say print of my program is over. Program executed successfully. I wrote like this. Now save this program now. Observe it, because exceptions are very sensitive points. These are very, very sensitive points. To understand, it is a sensitive. Without understanding, anybody can explain. You take any Python student, they don't know any exception knowledge at all. In our class, you will become a wonderful student like anything. Let me come to the, I saved it in our command prompt. Yeah, G colon, coming to the point of it, KVR, Python, 4 p.m. CD exception handling I am writing. Now you come to this. Py, now I am writing ex1.py. See that answer now, what is coming? See what is happening. A value, 4th line, 5th line, 6th line, program executed successfully. 10 by 10 is called 0. No exception came in this case. No exception came in this case. Done successfully. All of a sudden I am writing 0. All of a sudden I am writing 0. Line number 2 no problem. Line number 3 no problem. Line number 4 no problem. 5 also no problem. When 7th line is coming, PVM cannot, 6th line is coming, PVM cannot execute it. PVM got an invalid input. Invalid input is nothing but an exception. So in this line, happens, exception occurs. Exception occurs. When the exception occurs, it jumps out of it. I already told you here, PVM terminates the program execution. PVM comes out of the program flow. By default, it gives a technical error message. To do this ABC steps, PVM create an object of an exception class. Technically, all the exceptions are treated as what? Objects. Which class object is created now? Tell me, which class object will be created for this problem? For this problem. Which problem? Division by 0 problem this is. Division by 0 problem it is. Which exception is created? 0 division error. Z capital, D capital, E capital. Like that you need to answer my question. 0 division error. So it is going to create it as 0 division, because this is a most dangerous concept. Exceptions are dangerous concept. We should not write 0 space division space error. If you write like that, that is also called wrong answer. I'm saying in the beginning only, I'm just saying to everybody. So you have to write 0 no space, error no space. It is as good as writing what? List is there na, list like this we are writing na. We cannot write any spaces between that. So you need to be careful enough. So let us save this code and see the output what is coming. Technical error message is coming, you see carefully. Now see, line number 4 and 5 is completed. And beginning next onwards, this entire message came. This entire message came. See that now? 0 division error. From here onwards, you got some type of message. You got some type of message. This message, see line number 6. Line number 6. What is an exception is coming? 0 division error. What is the message is coming? 0 division. This entire message, is the end user will understand? Is the end user will understand? Come on, answer everybody. No, sir. No end user will understand, sir. That's why. This is understandable by whom? Who will understand these messages? Programmer will understand, sir. Who will not understand, sir? Who will not understand, sir? Programmers cannot, programmers only can understand. End user cannot understand. That's why to convert this entire user-friendly error messages into error messages into error messages into Avinash Mishra. Mr. Avinash Mishra, you must read the operators. Strictly speaking, you must read the Avinash Mishra. You must read the operators. See, if I want to go for operators, it is not possible for me. Mr. Avinash Mishra, I am using single slash. If I use a double slash, you will get one. You need to read the operators. Sorry for it. It's very sorry at this stage. So for you, I am showing you, to show you your mistake, I am going to show you that kind of thing. If you ask that type of doubts, it's very sorry I am telling you. See that one came because you are not reading the notes. So if I write single slash, I told you strictly to you 1.0, right? Yeah, that's everybody is answering. Yes, nice. So go for that. I already explained, Mr. Avinash Mishra. I explained for you once again the operator. Be careful. Read the notes. Okay, come on back to the point. So here I got the output here. So finally we understand that one exception has come. This exception has come. See that carefully. Now I got exception Y. What is this entire message is called? Technical error message. Which type of exception you have seen? Come on, which type of exception? Zero division error is coming. Why this exception is coming? Because you are entering denominator is a 0. Denominator is 0. Denominator is 0. Cannot be processed. One more one more type of example I want to show you. One more type of example I am showing you. Look at that one more example. I am trying to show you. See that ex2.5. One more example. Here I am writing a is equal to, within the double quotes 10. Can I convert into integer? Come on, answer my question. Yes. But now I am saying that a is equal, some b is equal to int of a. I can convert it value of a. Now I am writing here value of b. Value double quotes. Value of b is equal to comma b. I can write it. Here I will write it. Value of a. I can write value of a. What is the type of value of a? str is equal to comma a. And what is this value of b here? I am trying to write int type here. You are able to convert it. No issue at all. In this case, no issue. Now see, all of you carefully. Now it is able to convert perfectly. Now see, done. Perfectly converted. No problem. See, all of a sudden I am writing 10 kVr. Is it possible to convert or not? No, sir. So A is printed. Line number 3 is printed. But int of A, you are unable to get it. PVM is unable to convert. Is PVM is able to convert or unable to convert? First answer my question. Is the PVMA is able to convert or unable to convert? Unable to convert. Because of which input? Invalid input you are passing. Which input you are passing? Invalid input. Invalid input you are passing. Invalid input is known as what? Invalid input is known as what? Invalid input is called what? Already you forget. Okay? Go to home. Invalid input is called what? Exception. Exception occurring means what will create? Exception occurring means what will create? Excellent. Whoever is answering, I already explained. If you are wrong answer, I cannot do anything else. Invalid input is called exception. Exception occurring means what to create? Object to create. When an object want to create, what is required? Exception class is required. The name of the exception class is value error. See that word value error. We already just asked you to remember in the beginning days of my class. What is that error? Value error. Value error. So coming to the point back, value error. See that carefully. You will get it. Value error. Value error. You will get it. See that now. You got a big message came. See that this is important. This from here onwards, you see the big message. Line number 4. Line number 4. This message is known as which message? Please tell me, all of you. Which message this is called? Which message, ma? All of you. Technical error message. Technical error message. So, what exceptions you have seen? Division by 0 error. Why this is coming? Why that exception is coming? Because of division by 0. Value error is coming because of what? Wrong inputs you are passing. Unable to convert. Invalid numbers you are trying to convert. Once again, I am writing here dollar. Dollar is a special symbol. I am trying to convert into integer values. Is it possible to convert? Is it possible to convert? Not possible to convert. Immediately will get what error? Value error. So value error is coming because of what? Unable to convert, unable to typecast. Already we learned the typecasting functions. Unable to convert. That time you are getting what? That time you are getting what? Value error here. Value error. Is this class you developed or already developed? Is this exceptions you developed or already developed? Already developed. 0 division error is an exception already developed. Value error, is it developed by you or already developed? Already developed. Already developed. Then these are called what? Normal classes or exception classes? Normal classes or exception classes? Exception classes, these are all called. These are all called what classes? Exception classes. Next, I will try to take one more kind of thing. I will try to take one more kind of thing. What is that now? I am trying to write. Go to your Python environment. Python command prompt you go. All of a sudden go to Python command prompt. So I am printing A. I am printing A. A is actually not there. So immediately what is that? A. See, this is called one error message. System a technical error message. See that name error. Name error. Name A is not defined. Name A is not defined. Next I will write D is equal to dictionary object I am creating 10 colon apple 10 colon apple 20 colon something like kiwi like this I wrote now print of D I wrote it and D of 30 I am writing 30 do you have 30 here? 10 is the key, 20 is the key. Do you have 30 here? No. So no means is the PVM is able to print or unable to print? Able to print or unable to print? Unable to print. It is known as what input? Invalid input. Invalid input is known as what? Invalid input is known as what? Exception. Exception means what? Exception means what? What will create? Object will create. That object require what? That object require what? One exception class is required. Tell me, exception class. Name of the exception. D is not there. 30 is a key. It is called key error. See that now? Key error. See that? Key error. See, this entire thing is known as which message? Technical error message. Anything is not invalid input. It is known as called what? Exception will come. Any type of error is coming. It is called invalid input. Okay, now see carefully. Now next I am going to use it. One more kind of discussion. What is my conversion here? You see, A is equal to 10. I want to convert that 10 into binary. Some X is equal to bin of A comma 20 I am writing. Two values I am passing. Bin means actually taking only one value. Print of X. Convert into binary. Now I am writing X, A comma B I am writing, A comma 30 I am writing, 30. Wrong number of parameters I am passing. You will be getting one more. Tell me, is the bin function taking two values or one value? Is the bin function taking one value or more than one value? Taking one value or more than one value? Taking only one value, but it is taking two values here. It is taking two values here. So it is going to give you in wrong type of parameters you are passing. It is called PVM cannot process this. Immediately it is an error. Type error it is called. Type error. What is this type error? Exception class. What is this key error? Exception class. What is this name error? Exception class. Tell me, here I am going to give you the clarity here. All types of exceptions are called what? Classes. Whenever an exception is occurring, what is created internally? What is created internally? Come on, everybody answer it. Object is created. Object behind the object, what is existing? Behind the object, what is existing? Class is existing. Now, this entire story will make you to understand. This entire story will make you to understand. Enter into further. Now I am going to say, last and final. When the exception occurs in Python program, when the exception occurs in Python program, do you know what is happening? PVM, then when the exception occurs in Python program, then PVM creates, I already told you, once again I am writing, then occurs in Python program, then PVM creates an object of appropriate exception class. PVM creates an object of appropriate exception class. PVM creates an object of appropriate exception class. Object of appropriate exception class. And by default generates what? And by default generates technical error messages. How that error messages are supposed to be processed, we are going to discuss. So these are the points which we discussed so far about the exception handling. Is the steps are clear or not? Is the steps which I said started yesterday, is the steps are clear or not clear? All of you please confirm. Yes. So everybody must confirm it is cleared. Yes. Now further I will go to types of exceptions. Now types of exceptions I need to go for it. Next discussion I will enter into types of exceptions. Types of exceptions in Python language. In Python language I want to go for it. So what are the various types of exceptions in Python language? We need to understand. What are the various exceptions in Python language? I just want to discuss. Very, very simple. Now I am going to give you the clarity here. Predefined exceptions in Python I am going to explain. Okay, right. Now, coming to the point back here. Now, what is that? In Python programming, in Python programming, Karthik, notes writing we already decided all of us. I am uploading in the Google Drive class and we need to download that notes. So, we need be careful. We need to download from the Google Drive class daily. That you need to take care. So, in Python programming, we have two types of two types of exceptions. One is called what? They are. Now I am writing. They are number one. First one I am talking about it. Number one. What is that? Predefined. Also called as what? Built-in exceptions. First one that is. Second one is there. That is called what? Programmer object. User object. It's a very, very important. custom defined exceptions. Custom defined exceptions. Two types of exceptions we have. One is called predefined or built-in exceptions. Second is called programmer oblique user oblique custom defined exceptions. Now we are going to talk about the predefined exceptions. For 2 minutes, I want to give you predefined exception definitions. Tell me, these exceptions, who will develop? Who developed these exceptions, ma? These exceptions developed by Python language developers. Python language developers. ROSM has developed this. ROSM has developed these exceptions, not programmers, ma. Please keep in mind. English is very, very important. These exceptions are developed by Python language developer. That is nothing but ROSM has developed it. And available as a part of what? Languages API. Languages API. I already told you what is an API. What is an API? It is a library of the languages is called API. Beginning days. Available as a part of language API. And they always deals with universal problems. Very, very important. This word is important. Deals with universal problems. Sir, what are the universal problems? Universal purpose? No. Universal problems. Problems are nothing but exceptions. Some of the, next line I am writing, some of the universal problems are, now I am talking about that. Some of the universal problems are, attempting to, universal problems are division by zero problem. Division by zero problems. What is the name of the class? Already told you, division by zero problem. What is the name of the class? Zero division error. This is a problem name. Anything denominator is zero. Denominator zero problems are called zero division error. It is the name of the class. For that name of the class. Next is called what? B. Invalid number formats. What is the name of the class? Excellent. Value error. 85% of the people are giving a very perfect response. Some of them are not giving proper answers. Right. You need to concentrate well. So, coming to the point of it, invalid number format. I shown you already in the class. Na? I shown you here. See that key error, type error, and name error. And next one more type of errors here. Value error, invalid literals, invalid values. In next is called what? Invalid literal, unable to convert. These are all called what? Invalid number formats. Next I am going to talk about what? Next is called what? What is the next? Unintended errors, unintended blocks, unintended blocks. What is that error called? Indentation error. Indentation is not followed. What is that error called? Indentation error. Next, one more thing. Wrong number of arguments. Wrong number of parameters or arguments. Wrong number of parameters or what? Arguments you are passing. Which type of exception will come? What I am asking, what you are saying, ma, I am changing that order. You are going in the same order, which I explained, without understanding that. Wrong number of parameters or arguments. What is that error? Type error. Don't go in the same order which I explained, because I don't want to go for that type of training here. Type error, type error, T capital, E capital, T capital. See how I am writing. All the words, if any class contains more than one word, all the words first letters are capital. Type T capital, E capital. Value error, indentation error, I capital error. Next value error, V capital, E error, E capital. Next is division by division, zero division error, like that, etc. These are all comes under. For every exception, internally one object is created. Are you first of all following? Are you first of all following or not? Following. So key is not found in dictionary. Key error. Variable name not found in the program. It is called a name error. Like that, so many number. I am reading the data from the file, which is not error, which is going to be an error. In every moment of it, you are going to get lot of exceptions. In every moment of it, you are getting lot of exceptions. So please keep in mind that you are going to get lot of exceptions are there. Now I am writing some more kind of exceptions. I am trying to tell you here. Now I am trying to write here. Second point I am going to tell you. Programmer or user oblique custom defined exceptions I am trying to tell you. So programmer defined exceptions I am trying to tell you here. These exceptions I am saying here. These exceptions are developed by Python programmer here. Python programmer. These exceptions are developed by Python language developer. Python language. These exceptions are developed by whom? I am saying Python programmers. I am writing. Developed by what? Python programmers. I am writing Python programmers. And they are available as a part of. I will continue this part. I will take it and I will write it here. And they are available as a part of Python project. Not in the API. You are not a developer of language. Part of Python project. In your project, you have this. You have your exceptions, and they all deals with common problems. Common. What are the problems are occurring in your project you are developing? Now I am writing. What are the common problems are? Now I am writing here. Some of the common problems are. I am giving some examples. Some of the common problems are. Now I am writing A. What are the common problems? Try to take carefully. Attempting, carefully try to understand. Attempting to enter invalid pin in ATM applications. Think carefully. Don't think like a normal person. Invalid pin is called what actually? Answer. Invalid pin is called what? Invalid pin is called what? Exception. Every invalid pin is called wrong input. Wrong input is nothing but what? Exception. Exception occurring means what to create? Exception occurring means what to create, ma? What to create? Object to create. Object we must create. So to create an object, what is required? Exception class required. Don't tell class. Exception class required. Such exception class was not there in language API. That's why. Who need to develop that? Who need to develop that class? Who need to develop that exception class? Who need to develop? KVR will not develop. You will develop it. KVR is also, if he is a programmer, he will develop it. You are the who will develop? KVR will develop. KVR students also will develop. Yes. What is that exception you will develop? For example, pin error. See that? Yes. Pin error it is called. Are you getting my point? Invalid pin error. You can take your own class. You can develop your own class. Are you getting my students? Pin error is my class name. How easy it is. Actually, very, very easy that is called. Pin error, E capital I will use. Next I am trying to write it. Attempting to withdraw more amount than attempting to withdraw more amount than existing balance in account, existing balance from account. Tell me, you have 10,000 rupees in your account. You are trying to withdraw 20,000 from that. 20,000. What is it? What is it first of all? No. What is it first of all? You tell me. Exception. Exception means what to create? You just follow my fingertips, ma. Object. To create an object, what is required? What is required? Exception class is required. Exception class is required. Was that exception class is there in the Python API? Was that exception API was there in the Python API? No, sir. We need to develop that. That's why it is known as which exception. Perfect. Programmer defined exception. See how easy it is. I will take insufficient fund error. I will take like that. Next I am trying to write. How easy it is. Attempting to enter invalid username and password. Invalid username and password. Tell me, invalid username and password is called what again? Exception. Exception require what? Exception need what? Object. Object require what again? Exception class is required. Such exception class was not there in where? API. Such exception class was not there in where? API. Immediately. Who need to develop that? We people need to develop it. Programmers, you need to develop it. That's why that exception class is known as what? Programmer defined exceptions, etc. Are you getting clarity on this or not? Are you getting full clarity on this part or not? Yes. Dear students, I hope that you are getting clarity on this part. I think so. So, I hope that you people are getting clarity on this area. So, each and every exception, each and every type of invalid input is going to give you some type of exception. That exception we need to develop it. That's why any exception comes in our Python program, it is a matter of dealing with exception. From now onwards, you make one thing granted. When we accept any type of input, immediately beginning itself, you think two things: valid input or invalid input. If it is valid input means process it and gives the result. If it is invalid input, generate the exception you develop it and immediately gives the user-friendly error message. This is an ultimate procedure in real time. You take any Python student and they don't know anything about the exceptions, guys. It's a damn sure. You take any student and then do it. Now, we understand types of exceptions in the class. How many types of exceptions are there? Please confirm. How many types of exceptions are there? Two types. What are those two types? What are the two types of exceptions? What are the two types of exceptions, ma? Number one. What is number one? Predefined exceptions, and next is called programmer defined exceptions. Yes. Now, predefined exceptions and programmer defined exceptions. Right. Now, coming to the point of it, predefined exceptions are those developed by the language developers available in the Python language and deals with universal problems. What are the universal problems I explained to you? These are all called universal mistakes universal invalid inputs entered by our people, and we are going to give you the type of name of the exceptions. Any type of exception is there. Internally, an object is created. Internally, an object is created. Whose object is going to take internally, the class name will be taken. And the programmer defined exceptions are there that are developed by the programmers itself. That are developed by the programmers itself. And it always deals with the common problems which are happening in our Python project. Attempting to enter invalid PIN number in ATM application, exception. Invalid input, exception. Straightforward. Now, attempting to withdraw more money than existing amount, it is called exception. Attempting to enter invalid username and password, exception. Even in your class, when you are entering into my class, you are entering the ID plus you are entering the passcode. If the passcode is invalid, it is saying that invalid passcode, try again. What that message is called? User-friendly error message. Now, first we will talk about programming on predefined exception. Exception handling is not one day topic. Daily that will come. In files that exceptions will come. In object-oriented programming files, exceptions will come. In every moment of it, you will get the exceptions in the class. But we are learning here only all types of. In data science, exceptions will be coming. Our Python class is addressing that. In ML, that exceptions are coming. In artificial intelligence, exceptions are coming. For all the things addressing what? Our Python class. Now we are going to enter into whatever it might be, the objects are created internally. By default, PVM will generate which message? By default, PVM will generate which message? Come on, guys, quickly. Technical error messages are displayed. Technical error messages are displaying. Technical error messages are not understandable by whom? Technical error messages are not understandable by whom? Users. Understandable by whom only? Understandable by whom only? Programmers. Programmers only can understand. So that's why you need to do what now? That's why you need to do what? Come on, you need to go for exception handling. That is our next concept will start. Next one is that only handling the exceptions. Handling the exceptions. See that now? Handling the exceptions. Now I'm talking about the handling the exceptions. That is our next discussion we are entering into that. Come on, ma. Now you are understanding. Already you understand. What do you mean by handling the exception? Tell me, ma. What do you mean by handling the exception? Yes, already students are saying that. Converting the technical error messages into user-friendly error messages is called handling the exceptions, which is nothing but definition of exception handling only. Exceptions, once again, all of you, exceptions always gives which messages, ma? Exceptions always gives which messages? Come on, dear students, exceptions always gives which messages? Technical error messages. We are handling them. We are handling them. Why you are handling? Because the end user cannot understand the technical error messages. That's why we are just converting into what? User-friendly error messages. Now I am writing here. Handling the exceptions are nothing but, here I am writing, handling the exceptions. Handling the exceptions are nothing but, handling the exceptions are nothing but converting what? Converting technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. User-friendly error messages is called handling the exceptions are nothing but converting the technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. Okay, to do this process, to convert the system error messages, to convert this technical error messages into user-friendly error messages, we have some type of keywords. To convert, dear students, very detailed point I am writing. To convert Which messages? Technical error messages into which messages? User-friendly error messages. To convert technical error messages into user-friendly error messages in Python programming, we have five keywords. They are number one. I am talking about the number one. What is that number one? Try. Number one, try. We will explain in detail about that. Nothing to worry. Second one is called what? Except. We are talking about the except like anything. Varieties of except we will write. Number three, we are writing about else. We are writing about next fourth is called finally. And the next we are writing five is called rise. These are all called what? Keywords for handling the exceptions. What do you mean by handling the exception? Handling the exceptions are nothing but converting the technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. Yes. To do this type of conversion, to convert these technical error messages into what? User-friendly error messages. In Python programming, we have five keywords. They are number one, try. Try is a keyword. We will explain what is a try. And next we will go for except. Next we will go for else. Next finally. And next is called rise. So all these keywords are directly or indirectly helping for us to convert our technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. We are going to convert it. And how many keywords are there? Ma? All of you please tell me. How many keywords are there? 5 keywords are there. Those 5 keywords are directly or indirectly helping us to convert this technical error messages into user-friendly error messages. Next, we need to understand what is the syntax for handling the exceptions. Syntax for what? Handling the exceptions. What is the syntax for handling the exception? It is one of the most powerful concept it is. Okay. This syntax we will be discussing. And now I hope that you people are catching my points. So previously what I am discussing here, types of exceptions. How many types of exceptions we have, ma? How many types of exceptions we have? 2 types of exceptions are there. So predefined exceptions, who developed it? Who developed predefined exceptions? Yeah, good. Python language developers. Available in where? Python language developers. Where they are available in? API. Very good. API. And it deals with what problems they are? Predefined exceptions deals with what problems? Universal problems they are dealing with. They are dealing with the universal problems. Excellent. Perfect. Excellent. They are dealing with the universal problems. Can you tell me some of the universal problems? Guys? Some of the universal problems are zero division error, value error, type error, key error, name error. Like that, all of them are called what? Universal problems. Yes. Who will develop programmer-defined exceptions? Who will develop indentation error? Excellent. Who will develop programmer-defined exceptions? Programmers. Means you people will develop that. Deals with what problems? Yes. Good. Programmers of KVRs are very nice. Really nice. Right. Programmer. Deals with what problems, ma? Common problems. See, my words are very, very important. That words you need to carry because they are all called international terminologies. You need to, as it is, you need to carry. Even a layman can understand the programming of exceptions, common problems. Some of the common problems are what? Attempting to enter invalid PIN. Some examples. Attempting to withdraw more amount than existing. Attempting to enter invalid username and password. Attempting to enter invalid username and password. Anything is an error. You develop an exception immediately. How to develop that exception? I will explain that. Don't worry. This is our second, two types of programming I am going to deal with. One is called predefined exceptions I am developing. Programming on predefined exceptions we are talking. One more is programming on programmer defined exception. And big example, well, case study example I am giving, the total, it is going to give you clean and green example for you. And you will become a wonderful student in that. Just within 2 to 3 days, you will become a wonderful student in that. Dear student, now I am going to conclude my sentences. After discussing types of exceptions, in today's class I talked about handling the exceptions. How many keywords are there? I forget. How many keywords are there, ma? 5. Can you type them 5 keywords once? Can you tell me 5 keywords once? Type in a single line and then submit. Don't submit one by one. Don't submit one by one. Submit one in a single line. You type it and submit. Single line you submit to me. So try, except, finally, else, rise. What are the points about the try block? What is the except? When to use else? Finally, all these things we will discuss one by one in the class. Right. Now, dear students, tomorrow onwards, we will go for 2 hours lecture completely. 2 hours lecture completely. Because compared to yesterday, today's my voice is also clear for you. Yes, Nama? Compared to yesterday, today my voice is clear, na? It is like previous days. Is it like previous days, ma? Yes. So with all my students' prayers, with the God grace, yes. So today's class, so 70% is clear. Yeah, I'm clear about this. And tomorrow onwards, we will go for a complete session. We will take it. So thanks for cooperating. Yeah, KVR sir is back. Okay, thank you, ma. Thank you. With all my students' grace, with all my students' praise, and then God grace, I'm happy to say that I'm back. Right. So tomorrow's class, yes, we will go for 2 hours class. All the sessions, morning to evening. Oh, yes. Line is back to roar. Thank you, ma. Thank you. With your cooperation, we can do like a lion roar. Yes, ma. Right. So tomorrow class, we will go for this. And tomorrow's class, I will go for, don't miss tomorrow's class. Very, very important discussion. We will make it. Tomorrow is lockdown. It seems, ma. Don't go outside. Be inside the class. Right. So tomorrow class, don't go anywhere else. Right. So don't miss the class tomorrow. Thank you. Good.